There's also the texts that were circulating among New York young Republicans. Do you think there is a cultural problem in some segments of the right where this kind of language is tolerated?
It's hard for me to think of this language, which I do condemn, without thinking of the language of the candidate for attorney general who talks about killing his opponent and his opponent's children. So I think to line up something as right or left, look, I've experienced political violence. I was there at the ball field when Scalise was shot. One staffer was shot 5 feet from me. I was attacked and had 6 ribs broken over political violence. I was in a Washington, D.C. at 1 a.m. when a mob attacked my wife and I. I've seen it all. All that I've seen has come from the left. So I'm not really a good person to ask, oh, is the right wing the problem? When I've very personally suffered the violence at the hands of left wingers. The guy that did the shooting shot over 160 rounds at us on the ball field. He was in a vowed supporter of Bernie Sanders and left wing. He was a very angry man. Look, I don't blame Bernie Sanders for this. In fact, I was very quiet about the guy's politics, but I just probably am not the best person to ask about whether there's a lot of right wing violence.
Well, I think then maybe you are the right person to ask, though. Are you worried that political violence, right or left or wherever, is on the rise?
I'm worried about violence, but I'm not willing to characterize it as coming more from the right than the left. I think the internet has fostered it. Anonymity makes anger worse and gets really people ginned up who their expertise and their excellence is in anger and emitting anger. Look, I'm walking down the hall with Bernie Sanders today. We worked together on legislation on the Federal Reserve last week to try to say the Fed can't be paying these large New York banks interest on reserves. I worked with Elizabeth Warren on that. I've worked with Wyden on issues of Fourth Amendment privacy. Doesn't mean we agree on everything, but we find areas of agreement, and we rarely have shouting matches with them. For the most part, it's a much more amicable place than people would imagine. So I think what we have to figure out is how to tone down the voices and not give credence to these people who are anonymous on the internet.